Hi, everybody. We are live. Welcome to my little corner of the internet on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. This is the sunset behind me that I get to see when I do my sunset walks, which I'm trying to do every day. I do a sunrise walk and a sunset walk, and just love doing it. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm going out walking. So welcome to my channel, and really good to have you all here. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight that are kind of near and dear to my heart, and I hope that it's helpful for some of you, especially anyone who might be struggling. But before we get into that, I want to just do a little housekeeping. I want to, first of all, introduce myself. My name is Anita, and I try to do a live every Sunday night. I've been doing this for, not lives or anything, but I've been on this low-carb journey for over 10 years. I've lost 145 pounds from my highest weight. Still working on that last bunch of weight, but with everything that has improved and gone on with my life, I can't complain. I honestly can't complain. I have like two whole moderators here tonight. I've got Bonnie and Melissa, who is Copper's Carnivore Kitchen, in the live chat, helping out with welcoming and questions and things like that. So good to have them both here. And other helpers too that are here. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure I saw Jason in there. Just Jason Keto is here tonight, always helping out, which is awesome. And I see other names that I recognize. I don't want to start saying hello to them all because I'll miss people, and the list is long. They're just whipping by me here. So tonight we are going to talk about this time, the challenges that we face around this time. Did you know that there's even an annual, what do they call it, Quitters Day, a National Quitters Day, because it is so common for people to start something new in January, and in between that second and third week, they end up just dropping off the face of the earth as far as their, whatever the things that they were planning to do for January, starting a new plan, whether it's a fitness plan, new way of eating, financial plan, whatever, any of those things. There's a lot going on when we restrict our carbs. And so some of those things have physical repercussions and then also, mental, emotional repercussions. The 3-week mark is really tough. So if you feel like you're struggling right now to stay in the game, you're not alone. You're so not alone. And this is very common. So don't feel that it's you and, that there's something wrong with you. There's some reasons. One of the reasons is that a lot of us are addicted to carbs. It takes a good 3 weeks. And for some people, it takes longer. So it takes a good 3 weeks to get the addictive substances out of your system. And whether that's like smoking, drinking, carbs, gambling, all those things, it takes 3 weeks to sort of get past the high danger point. But it can take even longer, for everything else to really be safe from it. So we have that we're up against. We also have other feelings too, like that's sort of a physical addiction thing. At the 3-week mark, your lizard brain in the back of your head there, that prehistoric self that is, wanting to keep you getting those dopamine hits, it's screaming at you right now. It's like yeah, come on, have this, have that. We see things like FOMO, that fear of missing out. We just get, we start thinking about what we're missing, and what we could have, and then there's the YOLO people. Oh, you only live once. There's all that going on. So you've got those outward pressures, social pressures, family pressures to eat normal. Why don't you just have a normal meal or whatever? We also have some loss and mourning going on. I know I'm not alone when I say that in the beginning, all the time, all the Januaries that I had, there's some real grief that can happen. Oh, I'm never gonna. I mean, I was devastated when the whole low fat thing, all of a sudden it became clear to me that these bagels that I was eating 2 of in the morning because they had no fat in them, I thought I didn't think I could make it through a breakfast without 2 bagels, without 1 bagel. I just didn't. I didn't put butter on them because I was a good girl, right? We had these fat-free bagels, and I put strawberry jam on both of them, no butter, and I just thought that was like the perfect breakfast. What did I know? I knew nothing. It was 0 fat, so it had to be good. That's the kind of thing. Like I was completely addicted to those things, and so I literally mourned and grieved over not having those bagels for breakfast. Like literally. We also just, we have to think about the things that are going right at this time of January, or any time that you're feeling like you're struggling. These are things that are perfectly normal. It is normal to grieve a food that you're not going to have anymore. It's normal to feel a little sad. It's okay to feel a little sad. It's okay to have these feelings. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's all part and parcel of the forces that are within our body, mind, and social structures that we just want to be like everybody else. We want to fit in, and that can be very difficult. So if you feel like you're struggling right now, just please don't leave too early. We have the other phenomenon of a lot of you are doing World Carnivore Month. So you may not have come from a standard American diet. Maybe you came from keto and you're doing World Carnivore Month this month, and you're missing those keto treats, or you're missing, some fruit and veggies and things like that. But you want to make it through to the 30 days, because you made a commitment, and you're feeling just a little shaky right now. The thing with carnivore, the thing with going keto, the thing with going from sad to low carb, keto to carnivore, carnivore to lion diet, all those things, you feel that little bit of loss, and you're going, does it have to be like this forever? Am I going to have to live with this forever? I'm never going to be able to have that again or this again. It just builds up in this 3rd week mark. And the other thing that I heard from actually one of our private YouTube group members is, she said that there are also there's something about the gut microbiome. Your microbes in your gut at about the 3-week mark start sending signals to your brain that you need to have this other food. So like everything, like every cell in our body and our minds and our brains are freaking out right now. They're freaking out because they don't want you to eat this way long term. They want you to give up and go back to what they all think is normal. So I'm just here to tell you that, yeah, you're going to feel bad before you feel good. You're going to feel really crappy. And especially if you've decided to go carnivore from standard American diet, that's probably the most drastic thing. It is going to feel worse before it feels better. And it may take you may feel really crappy for 30 days, for 6 weeks, even for 60 days. You know, there's bowel issues, there's gut issues, there's all kinds of things. I'm gonna like paint the picture here that you will feel, worse unless you hang in there. You're gonna feel worse, and then all of a sudden the clouds are going to lift, it's going to pass, and you just kind of wonder okay, I'm glad I hung in there. I mean that's how it's kind of gone for me. There were times when I wanted to just, go back. Like, let's just go back. This isn't working. I feel so bad. It isn't working. But there's always something that you can try or tweak to make it feel a little bit better. And the first thing is to hang in there and make it through 30 days. So I guess that's kind of my message for tonight, that, don't give up before the miracle happens. Because it will happen if you do this long enough. Sometimes, for some people, for whatever reason, these things take longer. It might take longer before you feel better. It might take longer before the food noise stops. It might take longer before pounds start to drop if you're, in it to lose some weight, before your A1C goes down. I mean, these things, this damage that we've done to ourselves. I mean, in my case, I had, 50 years of damage to reverse. I was in my early 50s when I started this. And it seemed really hopeless to me. It seemed, you saw at the beginning, you saw the before picture. It seemed utterly hopeless from that point to where I am now, to, like, that first step is the hardest. Don't think of it as, oh, I have to lose 150 pounds. I have to lose 200 pounds. I have to lose 100 pounds. Just think of it, the next meal, I'm gonna eat on plan. I'm gonna do it for a meal, and then you do it for a day, and then that becomes a week. It's all in the beginning. It's really helpful to break it down into really small pieces and not concentrate on the whole job ahead of you, the whole mountain climb. Those people that are going on a mountain trek and looking up at Everest or Kilimanjaro or wherever they're going, they have to take that first step. They have to, go up that first little bit, and it takes a few weeks to accomplish this. So we're in the same thing, except for on a longer scale. It's a climb. It can be a climb. So that's basically my message, is to hang in there. Don't let this difficult time, this 3-week mark, derail you, because easier days are coming. And I know this because I've been here many times, and it feels really good after a while to go through these Januaries, and they just feel kind of normal. There's no big difference between January and any other month of the year once you have some of the success behind you. Really what we want to focus on is daily habits. If you are a person who is getting your morning walks or your evening walks, or whatever movement you've decided to bring into this, it doesn't have to be those walks. I'm really into doing them right now. If you're doing, some journaling, if you're keeping the seed oils out, the grains, the sugars, the processed foods, the ultra processed foods, keeping them out of your diet, focusing on single ingredient foods, focusing on your sleep, all these good things, maybe get out and touch some nature as much as you can. If you do all those good things long enough, you got to have faith that there's going to be some results somewhere along the way. You can't keep doing everything right and then nothing happens. And I know sometimes it feels that way. I have been in spaces before, like that sort of space where, gee, I've been, stalled for 6 months or a year or whatever. I feel like it's not going right. Those periods do come and then they go. So, it's all a matter of just doing all or most of the good things long enough until the rest of you can catch up, because weight loss and healing and all those other things, they don't all happen in a linear fashion all at the same time. It's, I just know that I can't do 50 plus years of damage to my body and I'm going to heal in 6 months or a year. Everything's going to be good. No, I'm 60. I'm going to be 67 very soon, and that is that's how long it took. It took over 10 years before I just feel really fantastic now. No medications at all. Nothing on the horizon. Markers are all good. That kind of thing does take time and patience. Remember the vitamin P for patience. So, I guess that's what I'm asking you guys to do is to be patient, keep doing the little things every day. It's those little things that will accumulate and add up and get you further down the road. It's not a magic set of macros or a magic number of calories or a magic number of days, because everyone is going to be different. Anyone who promises you that you're going to lose 40 pounds in a month, run away. Just run, because it likely isn't true. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, as they used to say. Before I go to the questions, I want to also remind people, one of the big things is to really get in tune with your why. If you lose your why, you lose your try. I heard that recently, and I always hear this other saying as well. Your why should make you cry. You need to get something. There has to be a good reason for you to do this, and especially if the journey is long and hard. You've got a lot. Maybe you were in the same place I was, someone in their early 50s who was realizing that their future didn't look so good being 325 pounds. How long does a person like that last once they start getting older and all the medical issues start compounding on each other? It seems almost impossible. I think that is when you need to have a good why to rely on, something that you can check in with yourself and write about and journal about. And, it can't be because somebody else wants you to lose weight. My husband wants me to lose weight, or my doctor wants me to lose weight. My wife wants me to lose weight. I should lose weight. Those are not strong whys. You need to dig just a little deeper and just find out what is it, like, what is it deep down there that you want. For me, it's I don't want my kids to have to watch me lay on the floor and not be able to get me up, and have to assist me using the bathroom because I'm too big to do it myself and too weak. Those sorts of things, like just really get detailed. Really get detailed. I don't want to get too detailed here and make anybody upset, but those are the sorts of things that are on my list. because I lived through that with my mom, you know, the loss of dignity for her was so sad for me to watch that, and I just decided I can't put my kids through this. I can't let that happen to myself either. I'm not ready. I need to live a good life with whatever days I have left, and so this is my way of doing it. So I'm gonna go to questions. I'd love to hear if any of you are understanding what I just said. Like, can you relate? You know, do you have these feelings? You know, do you mourn certain foods? Do you feel like sometimes it feels hopeless? You know, just say it. You know, sometimes even just saying these things out loud or to other people can really be helpful. Certainly writing them down, having a group of people that you can share with, having a tribe. If you missed the ABCs of carnivore, I talked about all of this over the last 2 weeks in the last 2 lives. I think there was some really good information there, and this is information that, you know, I had somebody ask me where did you get this information? Well, this is my experience. It might not be the same as your experience or somebody else's experience, but this is what I've experienced and listening to other people over the last 10 years. You know, it's kind of, these are the things I think are important, and so there was a free handout, and you can get that from the link on my on the video notes of this video too. I just left it in there from last time. You can just go to that same link. The ABCs of carnivore and keto are there. So please help yourself to that. So I'm going to go and take a look at the questions and comments. Okay, Patty, I'm struggling 7 months now with diarrhea. Took advice on supplements and nothing has worked. Even tried fiber. Yeah, so diarrhea can, I don't know if you're keto or carnivore. For carnivores, sometimes diarrhea, it comes with, you know, or loose stools comes with too much fat too soon. So we do want to get to that point where we can digest fat and you know, we don't have the loose stools. So I would start by maybe dialing back on the fat. I don't know what the supplements are. I wouldn't advise taking supplements for that because you're not addressing the root cause. You're masking the symptoms. And certainly fiber is definitely not a nutrient that we need. It's not even a nutrient. Fiber is something that we need only if we're following the standard American diet, because it's the only thing that helps push all that crap through our system. If you're eating real whole foods, whether you're keto or carnivore, you don't need as much fiber as if you're eating the standard American diet, and you're getting more than enough. Even if you're only eating meat, you're getting what you need. You know, I know this is 2MI, but I go every day and I don't eat any. I have zero fiber, so your body does adjust to that. And yeah, so, you know, I hope anything I said helps. I don't have enough information there to get detailed. We did do a live on just all about poop one day. We did that about a year ago. So if you look through my past lives, you'll see that. So thanks for the question, Patty. Catherine, perfect timing for this subject. I needed to hear it. I haven't gained any weight, but I'm not 100% either. And yeah, you know, we go through those seasons where it's hard to be 100% dedicated. You know, we just came through the holidays, and that kind of sometimes can throw people for a loop. And even if they didn't do too badly, they're still getting things out of their system. You know, and they've had all that exposure to, you know, other food and family, emotions, all that thing. So definitely, you know, just rededicate yourself, figure out what you want to do, and go to work. You know, this this is as good a time as any to get clear on what your why is, and to move forward, and knowing, taking into account what I've said about sometimes things are going to get worse before they get better. Thanks for your comment. Catherine, I live with my daughter and her partner who are not carnivore at all. So many temptations around me all the time. Sometimes I do great and other times it's really difficult. I think in a situation like that, yeah, if you're faced with things, especially if you've had maybe some things in your system and they're not quite gone yet. It's nice if you can have like 30 days with no exposure to other people's food. But I know for everybody, that's not always possible. So maybe even if you could, for a period of time, ask that this stuff be put away in a certain cupboard. If you... Or maybe you have your own cupboard or part of the kitchen that's just for you, so you don't go in the other ones looking for something. You just go to yours. That's where you keep your, whatever, your sardines, your protein pot, whatever. See if you can take some steps. See if you can enlist their help to help you get through those first 30 days, or whatever you're looking at, because I know that can be difficult. Hi Trish, I'm trying to deal with FOMO, fear of missing out, with an upcoming cruise. I'm going on a cruise too in June. It's the first time we will be cruising with our Besti since going keto, so first time without a drinks package, feeling the challenge. Yeah, it's funny. So drinks are part of my why as well. I took care of my mom. I'm going to just share this. I don't want to beat anybody up for drinking, but I'm going to share this experience. Drinks are, alcohol is closely aligned with dementia. It's a risk. It's a known risk factor for people getting Alzheimer's and dementia, because it does affect your brain. And when I found that out, I was taking care of my mom, who, for 5 years with dementia and Alzheimer's. That was enough. I haven't had a drink since. I don't want to have a drink. I will probably never have a drink again. That was just enough for me. Just thinking about, it just became part of my why. It's not just food. This is alcohol as well. So yeah, I'm not buying a drinks package for the upcoming cruise. I'll just have fun watching other people do whatever they do. Luckily, it is the low carb cruise, so I'm hoping there's going to be other people also not drinking with me. I'm perfectly fine with a seltzer, anything, water. I'm just so used to just drinking water now that I don't even need the flavored stuff. I get it. I get it. That's a hard thing to, you're thinking about the camaraderie, the fun, all the emotions around it, being with friends and family that you haven't seen for a while. The food part, from what I understand, is very easy on a cruise. You can get anything you want, prepared however you want, pretty much. They always have lots of different proteins. There's lots of, vegetables, lots of clean stuff to eat. So yeah, the issue will be the drinks part. So the other thing with alcohol is, many people don't know this. So a lot of people will stick to hard stuff because, it's zero carbs. But the part they don't know is that your body has to burn alcohol before it burns anything else. So you're on a 7-day cruise drinking bourbon every day. You are going to be knocked so far out of ketosis that it'll be a while before you see it again, and it'll take your body time. And sorry, but you've upped your risk for dementia too. So just gonna say it, because it is true. But thanks for the question, Trish, and hope you have fun on the cruise. People can have fun without the food and the drinks. I have discovered that. I didn't think that was there was a time when I didn't know that that was actually a fact of life, but it is. I have amazing fun now. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that when you get back. Allison, how can I get rid of my constant cravings for cookies, cake, all that stuff? I've been carnivore for 5 months. I feel deprived and it depresses me. I have to ask if you are having any sweet tastes at all, because that will keep those cravings alive. There are carnivores that still eat or consume, say, flavored protein powders with stevia, flavored drinks like electrolytes, elements with stevia, those sorts of things. If you are one of those people, okay, so yogurt and cheese. Yogurt and cheese has those morphins in them. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. There is a substance in dairy that it causes a bit of a response in people. So dairy is designed for calves and baby animals to quickly grow. So it's in their best interest to be addicted to the dairy that comes from, the mother cow to the calf. They grow quickly with dairy because it's got the fat in it. So they grow quickly and they want more and more and more. And that is designed by nature. And I believe that is called a casomorphin, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, sorry. But look it up. You'll see what I mean. So that is why dairy can cause issues for people who are on carnivore. But if you are having any of so that could be it, or it could also be having anything sweet at all, even just a sweet taste, sugar-free gum, any Tic Tacs, anything like that can keep that craving for candies and cookies alive. If you have, say, no dairy for 30 days, no sweet taste, like no stevia, allulose, monk fruit, anything like that, I think you'll find that those cravings should be quiet. I mean, when I did my 60 days of Lion in the fall, I was amazed at how quiet my brain was. It was super quiet. So in December, I went back to dairy and all the other foods that I wasn't eating on Lion, like chicken and pork and stuff like that. But I believe the dairy was the thing that, started me up again with that whole, wanting more and more and more. And there, there is that natural sweetness to some of the dairy. We get really good cream here on the island, Avalon cream. There's only one ingredient, cream, but boy, do I love it. It tastes sweet without anything in it. So, these things can be a problem. So I hope you figure it out. Okay. I'm winning. Wonderful. Hi, Anita. What are your thoughts about the possibility of doing OMAD, 1 meal per day, on keto? Well, I know many people who do OMAD. And if you're able to do that and you're able to get in a decent amount of protein in a day, are you thinking about doing that every day? I mean, there are people who do 1 or 2 OMAD days per week, and that kind of helps them. The only problem that I ever see with OMAD, and it was a problem for me, and that's why I don't do OMAD. I do at least 2 MAD. I do 2 meals a day, sometimes 3. So it just depends on how I'm feeling and how long a day I have and that kind of thing. But with OMAD, I'm not able to eat enough. Like, I can't even eat 1,000 calories in one sitting of meat and fat. I've tried. I can't do it. So if I was to do an OMAD day every day, I'd be chronically under eating for my TDEE. But if I did it 1 or 2 days a week, I really like having meals, so I don't know if I would even be willing to do that, but who knows. But if I was to do it for 1 or 2 days a week, given that, then I wouldn't be chronically under eating if those other days I was getting what I was supposed to be getting. So that is the only precaution. Men seem to be able to do OMAD very well because they seem to be able, you look at Sean Baker, what he can eat 3 pounds of steak in a sitting. I mean, he's a big guy. It's a little bit harder for a woman my age to eat that kind of a meal. Like I said, I mean, I have tried to eat a 1 pound steak in one sitting, and I think I made it once. But it was not easy. It was very difficult. I'm usually around the 10 to 12 ounce mark. I'm usually like, I can't eat another bite of this, and so, just know yourself, and if you are capable of getting all the nutrition you need in one meal a day, then go for it. Many people do it. Patricia, love lady, thank you, Anita. I needed this pep talk. Good. I'm glad to provide it, because I always need them as well for myself too. Sylvia from Houston, Texas. You're so genuine and an inspiration. Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Sherry, I am having my fasting insulin tested. What's a good result of that test? The lower, the better. Never had it done before. Yeah, the lower, the better, for sure. So some doctors, it's going to depend on your doctor, but some want you to be less than 10. Some will look at a score that's much higher than that and say, yeah, you're fine. And some want you to be less than 6. So depends on what your other issues are, other comorbidities or whatever is. But yeah, definitely the lower the number, the better. If you do end up with a high number, all is not lost, because there are people out there who have gone from an insanely high, fasting insulin test down to, within that desirable range of being less than 10. So, just have it and look up the results, look up things that you can do to reduce. I mean, we all know what those things are. It's getting some movement, keeping the carbs, sugars, grains, seed oils, and, all that, keeping your blood glucose stable. There's all those things that we try to do in this corner of the internet that will help you eventually get your fasting insulin down. Tina Murphy. Hi, Tina. For me, a support group has been the number one reason for success. Your people are on the same journey. Who else will joyfully speak of bowel movements and swap sardine recipes? That is 100% the truth. I have multiple tribes. I have tribes, where I'm kind of, trying to keep people together talking about these things. And I have other tribes that I belong to where other people are in that role and I'm just a participant. I need them both. And I feel like the more that you can do, the better. I belong to three or four different things. I belong to at least 3, that I pay a monthly amount for, and I belong to some free. And there's also, so that's all kind of online. There's also meetups you can do. There's retreats and in-person things, conferences, keto conferences, carnivore conferences, all those sorts of things. You can do as many of those as you are financially and physically able to do. I think the more people immerse themselves in this, community, the better. You're a product of the 5 people you hang around with most, they say. And so why not make it people who are on the same page as you and make you feel good about yourself, and you make them feel good about themselves. And it is so it can be so life changing, to have some good tribes, even one good tribe. And they don't all have to be following the exact same thing as you. I mean, these can be church people, or they can be people at work. And try to have social experiences. Everybody needs social experiences. I know I've already mentioned dementia today. Another risk factor for dementia is loneliness and social isolation. Any of you that are interested in that subject, because some of us are getting into that age group where these things start to come up. If you go to, whatever the Alzheimer's Society is for your, state or province or whatever, you will find these risk factors that I often talk about. That's how I learned about them. And I encourage people to know what they are and make sure that they're avoiding them. Just Jason Keto, I knew you were here. Never let perfection get in the way of progress. If tomorrow is better than today, you are winning. Isn't that the truth? And, you've got to have that attitude, because not every day is going to be sunshine and roses. Not every sunset walk is going to look as gorgeous as the one behind me right now. There are going to be days when it is just crappy. And you need to be able to come back from that and know that tomorrow can be better. And it can be. And so thank you, Jason, for those words of wisdom. Claudia, what do you mean your mind was quiet? Oh, so sometimes you don't know what that means until you achieve it. Now, back in my days of weighing, what I weighed, over 300 pounds, my mind was constantly coming up with ways to get more food. It was like food-seeking behavior. My mind was active at all times, thinking of the next meal, the next snack, the next binge. Thinking of, how was I going to maneuver this or that situation. It wasn't just about food. It was about everything. It was, how was I going to go here without being seen? There was just all these my head was always scheming about different things in my life. It all would, come back to the fact that I was addicted to carbs. Everything seemed to circle around that and spiral around that. My mind was always going and spiraling. When it's quiet, there is nothing like that. You have time to think about important things. You have time to think about other people, other things, how you can be of service to other people, how you can help people, how you can do your job better, how you can keep your friendships better. You have time for amazing things, and you have time to be in quiet spaces and meditate and feel good about yourself. You free up all kinds of space for other things and other people. And it's really hard to explain, but I just refer to it as my mind is quiet. I mean, it's like when you are driving on a foggy road and the fog lifts a little bit, still a little bit hazy, and you're driving and driving, it seems like it's okay, and then all of a sudden it's clear, and you didn't realize, just how poor the visibility was until you were out on the other side. I guess it's a little bit like that. So if you have not experienced that, I honestly hope everybody who's here today can experience that at some point, because it really is a beautiful thing. Brenda, good evening from Oklahoma. What do you suggest if you have lost your appetite? I don't like protein shakes. Thank you so much. Well, protein shakes are not a necessity. So lost your appetite for food, like actual real food. Sometimes that happens, and usually it passes. I know that there's been a couple of times. I've been low carb for a long time in keto, but I've been carnivore for about 3 years, and twice now, I think I've gone through a period of what I call meat aversion, where I just didn't want to eat any meat, and I just kind of, it didn't last long. It felt like, oh, what should I do? It's weird. I ate other things, like I had scrambled eggs and cottage cheese, and funny enough, I discovered that even when I was having a meat aversion, I was okay with a can of sardines. So I did that. You just have to know that it's not going to last forever, and you probably don't need to stress about it. It's probably temporary. Sometimes we lose our appetite maybe for other reasons too, like if we've gone through a really stressful period, or maybe we've had a virus of some kind, or a surgery, or some other medical issue. It's more than likely temporary. So I would just encourage you to try to find other things that you can eat. Like, I don't know if you're keto or carnivore, but try to go for your favorite things, whatever's in your eating plan, and see how you do with that. And drink meat broth. Meat broth is always pretty easy to go down, and it's very gut healing as well. So you could try different things like that. And I hope it leaves you soon and you're able to eat hearty again. Quentin, I love working out. So here's my question. Is it true that if you're eating a keto diet, you have to stick to low intensity exercise? What's your take on HIIT training on a keto carnivore diet? I know a lot of people who do HIIT training on keto or carnivore. So I have not heard that it has to be sticking to low intensity. I hear people kind of mix it up. I mean, you've got, I don't know if you've heard of, Dr. Sean O'Mara. He's out there encouraging people to do sprinting, a little bit of sprinting every day, very quick, high intensity bursts of exercise. That is what will reduce your visceral fat around your organs. He's got some videos on that. I know that Kelly Hogan was doing HIIT training a few times a week for a long time there. She's carnivore. I know other people that do very low intensity work, like what you're saying. So I don't think there's a rule about it particularly. I think any movement is good movement. One carnivore guy that I like is Coach Bronson. If you look him up, you could probably go and ask him this question and see what he says. He's written a couple of books. He's very good. I admire him a lot. And he's been on my channel a couple of times. And I trust what he says. So definitely look him up and shoot him that question. But yeah, I think I don't think that's a hard and fast rule. I think you do what kind of exercise you like, and of course, don't overdo anything. But have at it is what I say, if that's what you like. So let me see here. I'm just gonna go over to the chat here. Okay. So who have we got here? I saw... electrolytes. Okay, sorry, I thought that was a question, but it isn't. We do have a few more minutes for questions. I've gone through the ones that were given to me, so I'm just looking to see if there's any more. Let me see here. Wendy. Hi, Wendy. It's good to see you here. Thankful to be here. Even though you stepped off of Lion, I'm feeling very good, just eating different kinds of meat now. And so thankful to drop off the coffee and replace with beef broth. So yeah, I'm glad you said this because I'll give a quick little update. So I am still doing Lion. However, I have had the worst digestion issues in January. I'm struggling with it in a way that I didn't struggle with Lion in October and November. In October, I went Lion. I quit coffee. I have not had coffee since October 1st. So I'm feeling really good about that. And I had a fairly easy time with Lion for those 2 months. Then in December, I took back I went offline and just decided to do plain carnivore for December. I took back dairy. I because of all the charcuterie boards and entertaining and different things like that, I also ventured into so many processed meats, like deli meats and things like that I don't normally eat. And even got into some nuts and pickles and different things like that. It was a bit of a hot mess after October and November. So I feel like I did something to my insides. I should know better. I have years of experience with sensitive gut issues. I was on medication for 15 years that I'm no longer on, but I just played fast and loose with it in December. And so now I'm suffering for that. And so Lion has been a real struggle for me in January. So much so that I decided I needed to make the El Reuterie yogurt again and have a tablespoon of that after every meal. And, there's people out there that are going to say, well, you're not doing Lion anymore if you're having that. Well, it is what it is. I don't feel like I need to suffer. I'm eating only Lion meats. I'm having a tablespoon of yogurt with it. That's what I'm doing because it feels so much better. Oh, this last week that I've been doing that, it feels so much better. So I'm happy that I'm doing it. And I don't regret it. I have zero regrets. So that is my little update. And I know there's a couple more questions came in. So I'm just going to quickly go over and take a look. It wasn't a question that came in. Just Jason Keto, thank you for gifting another Ketogenic Woman membership. Sometimes he comes in here and rolls that roulette wheel and just hands them out like candy. Katrina C is a new member. So Katrina, if you're still here, go check out the membership tab, and that's where I put the Zoom information. We have 2 private Zooms per week. So welcome to the membership of that. So we are down to the last few minutes, and I'm just going to see if there are any other comments down here. If any of you want to say whether or not you were doing Lion and how you're doing, I would love to hear from that as well. So let's see. Here's Star Seeds Wisdom. I'm trying to be keto, but I just had an orange. Is it really bad? It's not the end of the world. If you're keto, I don't know how many carbs you allow yourself. Just count the carbs in it and move on. Move on to the next day. So you had an orange. Being keto and carnivore is a lot about what we don't eat. So here are the don'ts. The don'ts are grains, ultra-processed foods, seed oils, sugar, processed foods, those kinds of things. Single ingredient foods are on the proper human diet spectrum. Now, is it better not to eat too much fruit? Fruit has the fructose in it, and that's all. There's lots of stuff out there about that. But an orange once in a while is not going to kill anybody. If you are eating a lot of fruit in a day, like fruit is something that I really have to be aware of, because it derails me completely, and I find it is addictive for me. If it has that same effect on you, then beware. If you're the type of person that can have a quarter cup of berries or an occasional orange or apple, this is not the end of the world. If you're a person that is having a Paul Saladino amount of fruit every day, you better be surfing for 4 hours a day like he does. So, there's trade-offs to these things. So please do not beat yourself up. Just move on. Just track it and move on. Danny, yes, no labels here. We do what is best for ourselves. So that I 100% agree with. We have about 5 minutes left. I have enough time to answer one or two more questions if anybody has one. So let's see here. Just going to see if I can see any more. Cassandra says, perhaps try kefir. It's like super-powered yogurt. I'm after those L. reuteri bacteria. I've read everything about them. I'm really they really did a lot for me when I did that last year. I did it for 3 months, getting those bacteria in, and I just felt so much better all around. And it's in where I live in my area, I have looked at the kefir labels, and there aren't any that have that bacteria in it for me to buy. And so I'm sticking with making the yogurt, and I'm finding that I do well with it. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. Okay, that might be it. And if I have missed any, I am so sorry. Here's one, Caden. I like those egg white buns. And in the little hot dog bun trays, do you let those cool or do you spray them before you use them? Are you talking about the ones with the little tiny holes in them, like the breathing holes? I found that I needed to spray them or butter them and put them on a pan. And that seemed to work the best. Unless you get the silicone ones, the heavier silicone ones, you might get away with not spraying those. But egg whites are generally quite sticky, so they stick to non-stick things. So yes, I do recommend spraying those. And let me there's one last question that popped in. Oh, that was the question. Sorry, I think I got the question. Okay, here's last question. How much meat do you eat in a day in ounces? It does vary day to day. Usually I have about a half a pound worth at each meal. So if I'm having 3 meals that day, it would be about 1.5 pounds. And if it was, it depends. If it was a 2-meal day, it might be a little bit less. But that's roughly what I eat. Plus all the fat that goes with the meat. I do tend to eat fattier meats rather than lean meat. So that is definitely going to add up the calories there, and get me the extra fat that I need. So I think that is it. Let me just see. I think we have to wrap this up. Here's one last one. Margie, thank you for this question. Do you find yourself more sensitive now than before you went carnivore? In what way? I've always been a sensitive person, I have to say. Maybe you're talking about my gut. So my gut was sensitive before I ever went carnivore, and I was taking medication for it. So then I discovered, and here I'm going to throw out the dementia word again. I discovered that the medication I was on is also linked to dementia. And so I talked to my doctor about getting off of it, and she helped me to wean off, and now I haven't been on it for 3 years. And at around the same time I went off that medication, I also went carnivore. So I just was sensitive to so many things. And I'm hoping that with this, with maybe easing some of my gut issues with this L. reuteri yogurt, that maybe some of my sensitivities will ease up. I have heard some people say that. I don't know if that's true. I will ask Dr. Davis that. He's coming on my channel next month sometime. So I would like to not be quite so sensitive, but it was definitely not caused by carnivore. I was already there. I was already there years ago, but I was taking a medication rather than going to the root cause of it. So anyways, thank you guys for the great questions and for coming tonight, spending your Sunday night here. I will be back next week, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Get out there, get some fresh air, get a good night's sleep tonight, and eat your single ingredient foods. Be happy. See you guys next week.